So the first thing I would do, the first tip is posture. And it's all about how you place your hand on the guitar. So if it's an unnatural placement, if your hand's like really cramped up or it's really not in a good place, you're not going to get good results playing. So when we talk about position and posture, there really are some bad habits that you can get in the way of. And so really your hand like this, you know, I see some people approaching the guitar with their wrists very much like just odd shaped, you know, and that's a big thing to avoid. You want something that feels natural. And then the other thing, whenever you're playing, you can see how I grab the guitar right here. So whenever I'm playing like that, you can see that my fingers and my thumb don't get in the way of each other. My thumb has plenty of room to come down. My fingers have plenty of room to come up. And so if I pick them at the same time, they don't get in the way of each other. They don't overlap. So that's just a really quick tip about posture. You also want to set up straight. Maybe try out the classical seating position. I enjoy this right here. I actually have my right leg on a footstool, which is interesting. I haven't seen many people, if anybody, do that. The second thing, the biggest thing that I can probably say is exercise the right hand without the left hand. If you're trying to learn fingerstyle playing, the biggest thing about fingerstyle playing is you're using your fingers, right? That's fingerstyle playing. It's not about the left hand so much as the right hand. And so you can just practice on open strings without using any chords, any voicings, without even having sound. You can mute the strings, and all I'm doing is barely touching the strings up here. So I get that sound, and then I just... Now what I want to do is give you guys some exercises, okay? And so these are very easy beginner level exercises. So the first one, the very most basic one, is just a fingerstyle kind of roll, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to assign a finger per string, okay? So we're going to be on the middle 4 strings, and we're going to be playing thumb here, index here, middle there, and ring there, okay? And so what we're going to do is we're just going to go down, and then we're going to come back up. And then you just repeat. So a little slower, it's like this. And this is one of those exercises that you literally just sit in front of the TV and go like this. Maybe mute the strings. And you know, this is something that I do myself. The other night, me and my wife were watching TV, and I sat there and probably played this exercise for like an hour while we were watching TV, running through this fingerstyle exercise for this classical piece I'm trying to learn by Villa-Lobos. The next one is a 4-string exercise, but we're moving now, okay? So we're going to be on these top 4, the 6, 5, 4, and 3. Then we're going to move to 5, 4, 3, and 2. Then we're going to move again, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then we're going to come back to 5, 4, 3, and 2. And I'm talking about strings when I say all those numbers. And then we're just going to repeat it. So it's going to be like this. Just like that. I'll play it a little slower. Then you just keep repeating. Then you just take it a little faster. And then again, mute the strings, play it while you're watching TV. Until it becomes second nature. All right, the third exercise is similar to that exercise, only it's a 3-note exercise, okay? It's a 3-string exercise. So what we're going to be doing is using our thumb, index, and middle, leaving out the ring, okay? So we're going to start on strings 6, 5, and 4, okay? And if you don't know strings, number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 being the biggest, that low E, 1 being the highest, the high E, okay? So we're going to start on these 3, move to these 3, move to these 3, move to these 3, come back up to these 3, come back up to these 3. Okay, so it's going to be like this. Okay, then you can do it a little faster. Mute the strings. Okay, and then the last one to show, and you can take any of these exercises in any order, is a 4-string alternate exercise, okay? So before we had the roll with the right hand that was like this. Now we're going to go like this. So we're going to go 5, 3, 4, 2 on strings. 5, 3, 4, 2. So it's going to sound like this. So you're jumping a little bit. Now the third thing I would say is learn to alternate your thumb. So for this, let's just take a simple A minor chord. Now what we're going to do is our thumb is going to play the 5th string, then the 4th string, then the 6th string, 4th string again, then the 5th string. Okay? So then you get a sound like this. Some people find it easier to anchor the pinky, and simply what that means is you keep the pinky down, okay? Sometimes I do this, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I just have my fingers or my hands kind of palm muting, so that's my anchor. And sometimes they just kind of float freely. So slowly it's like this. Now, next past that, when learning to alternate the thumb, you chord while using the thumb, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to keep that same thing that we just played. And now you can see these 3 fingers down here on strings 1, 2, and 3, and they're anchored there. So what I'm going to do is the first note here, I'm going to play without the chord. The next note, I'm going to kind of pinch these 4 together. I'm going to play them like that. Okay, so we have this. Okay, now we're going to hit the 6th string by itself, then come back and play that same thing again with all 4 of those. So you have this. Now, sometimes that's all people do to back up players. Thumb covers the bass, and then your fingers chord, and then somebody else plays something else. And then you just have this going on and somebody's noodling around. So now what we're going to do is we're going to syncopate that chord we were playing with these 3 fingers, okay? So the first time it's going to happen together. So we'll pick this note, and then it'll be the same there. Then we'll pick the 6th string, and then after the 6th string, it happens right before the next note on the 4th string. So it's like this. Adds a different kind of flavor, you know? It's that hot sauce on the guitar. All right, so if we play a little faster, you get this. little E minor in there, E major. That covers our first three things so far. The fourth thing I would say is after you learn to alternate the thumb, and the thumb is your bass, okay? It's that constant thing that's always going. Then you add the chord, okay? Or just the basic one like that. After that, we add a melody to that, okay? So then you're a one-man band. You're the bass, you're the chords, you're the melody. So the most basic way I can think to do this is to take the second pattern that we used whenever we were learning to alternate the thumb, okay? And we take an A minor, and instead of using all three fingers, we just use our index finger and our thumb, okay? So then we get a pattern like this. Like that. Now, what we're going to do with our middle finger right here is we're going to play a hammer-on to start. Slower, it's like this. That hammer-on, I'm only picking once, and then my bass happens at the same time that I hammer that down. And then that's what starts me. And then here it comes again. Now, if we add in and we change our second pattern that we use in the third point to the third pattern that we use in the third point. Yeah. Then we get this, okay? Our pattern changes. We're still using thumb and index finger. Our pattern changes to this. And now we add in our little hammer-on. And so this is the most basic way I can start to explain thumb, chords, and melody all at the same time, one hand. And it really does start with these simple things like this because you have to develop that control in your fingers, okay? You have to develop that sense of knowing where your fingers are. And that only comes from just playing that thousands of times, tens of thousands of times. I mean, literally, just grab your guitar and just do that as many times as you can. And then when your hand starts to cramp, shake it out, take 30 minutes. It probably won't even be sore after 30 minutes. Come back and do it again. The last thing is to check out other styles. You know, see how jazz players do fingerstyle. See how rock players do fingerstyle. See how blues players do fingerstyle. And then also, most definitely, check out how classical players do fingerstyle. I can't tell you how much classical has influenced my right hand and how it has developed it, challenged it, and helped me grow as a fingerstyle player. So I would definitely recommend checking out all those styles and even more and just seeing what people do and not only what they do, but how they do it. You know, what makes their playing great and what are they doing specifically and how can you use that? And with that, there's tons of videos on YouTube. So just check out maybe some style-specific videos or some player-specific videos. There's a lot of great people doing videos on how this player plays this style or what kind of things they repeat all the time. And so if you check out those videos, you really can learn what makes your favorite players sound good and how you can use that stuff. Thanks for tuning into my YouTube channel today, guys. Again, subscribe. I'm here just to give you guys all kinds of guitar tips and then also just review some gear and some stuff that I like to use. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.